Hello, I am Mr. Sainamont, and today I'm going to show you how to draw some trees. So first I'm drawing a very loose circle that actually is a little bit oblong, which is good. And then I'm going to draw the width of the tree's trunk. So that top circle is going to be the canopy. And from the trunk, if you can imagine peeling string cheese from the main body of string cheese, you see how I took one bit off of that and I have all that left. So you always want to make sure your branches gradually get smaller, and then they turn into twigs and so on, and they have to get smaller as they go. So they're disappearing into the canopy. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some half circle or half oval shapes to the canopy. I'm just going to go all the way around following that rough or very lightly drawn circle that I did. So go all the way, and it does take some practice to get those half circles to radiate from the center. I'm also going to add some textural half circles and then erase that initial light circle that I drew, or light blobby shape. Just cleaning up the lines. By the way, I'd like to give a shout out to Andre. I know he's probably going to be the first one to like this video. He's like my YouTube channel ninja. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and continue down to the roots. Now these particular roots, I believe, are called buttressed roots, and they're very common in rainforest trees because the soil is not very deep. So the root system has to be fanned out across the surface to hold up the tall tree. So it provides structural support. And you can see that I'm drawing back in toward the center of the trunk, so each of those fins of the roots are going back or radiating out from the center, and that's pretty much it. So they're divided up like, think of them like fins on a fish, I guess, or like the tail of a rocket. That's a good way to think of it. And now I'm adding some fungi growing on the side of the tree or on the tree trunk, and I think this is called bracket fungi. So it forms these little steps. Just adding a couple of those to, give the tree more interest, visual interest. I think that tree's done. So next I'm going to show you how I draw palm trees. So I'm starting off with, this time, with a very thin, bendy trunk. And then the roots are very fibrous on a palm tree. They kind of bulge out and then go into the ground. And then I'm going to start by drawing the general shape of each palm frond. So it looks like a large leaf right now, but that's going to guide me onto where I draw all of these spiked lines, which are going to be representing the palm fronds. So you can see how that initial shape guides to where the end of each little piece goes. So now I'm going to draw this time the center, and then that's a new palm frond that hasn't opened up yet. And then you can see that large shape where I draw all the individual leaflets coming out from the center. So there's the top, and then I'll finish up the bottom there. And then a couple more to fill out the canopy of this tree. So we have this time it's the back line. I added a super light line. You can't even see it in the video, but that just guides those leaflets coming out there. So it's a side view, and then another side view, and they're just going to come out from the center there. And then one more in the back, just some random dangling palm frond. And then we have the textural lines, the segments up the trunk of the tree. This next tree is just completely made up. It's just a really interesting tree trunk that's very serpentine, and you can see how it winds up like that. And then branches. You notice how I have that much space and I'm dividing it up into much smaller branches. I don't have a lot to work with there. Nor do I have a lot of space because I don't want to overlap the palm tree. And then this one's going to be kind of Dr. Seuss with these individual segmented canopy shapes that are drooping down. And then each branch gets its own little mini canopy. So yeah, that's a funky tree. I don't know, maybe there is one out there like that. And then the root structure here are what I call mangrove roots. So they fan out. You can see how I'm doing that practice line to guide where I draw. Each root is going to be like a straw that comes down, and so I'm drawing the lines of their curvature. And then I'm going to add the thickness of each root, and it ends in a little half circle because it goes into a body of water. So it can be like a swamp or some sort of mangrove style, like an estuary or something, sitting water, pond. And there we go. The roots on the back to give it some depth. And then I'm adding some ripples. I'm erasing that guideline. I don't need that anymore. The guideline just shows us that the things in the front are the lowest on the page, and the things in the back are a little bit higher up. Now some ripples around the base to show that it is in sitting water. And then let's add a little bird. So a bird is just sitting on the trunk, very convenient spot for it to sit. The tropical fishing bird waiting for a snack. Its tail coming out the other side. So those are the 3 trees I wanted to show you, just some practice trees. And now for mushrooms. Simple mushrooms like a toadstool, very basic from the top. And now from the bottom, you draw the same bell shape and the stalk, and you notice that lines aren't connecting yet. And then I'll draw the inside of the bell, or the bottom of the bell there. And then the filaments, and they're going to the upper right on that side, and then straight up in the middle, and then off to the left on the left side there. And then I connect the bell around the back, and there's a mushroom. Next, I will show you guys how to draw some bushes. So you see how I do that half circle, because it does give it a sense of depth, like where it hits the ground, there's a little bit, it's not flat, it's coming down towards us and then going away from us. So it gives it just a round base. And then you can't see this with the bottom of that one, but this is more of a spiky bush. I didn't realize the camera couldn't catch that. That's okay, spiky bush. How about some rocks? I'll just draw rocks on that little space on the upper right side over here. So a couple rocks there. You notice I have that signature little half circle shape, so they're sitting either on a flat surface, like a ground somewhere, a desert. But in this case, I'm going to make them in water. So I'm adding those ripples around the outer edges of the rocks, and also the mushroom is submerged in water too. So you can see those little ripples that kind of wave around, wrapping around the shape. And it just shows that it's in water there. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and have a nice night or day or whatever.